Welcome back, everybody, to We Talk Film. I'm your host, as always, Barry, joined, as always, by Clayton. How you doing, Clayton?
Hey, Barry. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, you know. We've been through a lot this past week, you and I have. But, you know, we're getting back into rhythm again. We're getting back doing the podcast. And thanks to everyone for listening and also joining us here on YouTube, where you get to see our wonderful YouTuber faces. Because we've got YouTuber faces now, apparently.
We have the YouTubiest of YouTuber faces, according to one of our most loyal viewers.
Loyal viewers, yep.
Oh, so that's great.
So yeah, what are we doing today, Clayton?
Before we kick it off, we would just like to say something that we've been doing this week, is we have been lucky enough to be a part of a short film production that was being made by two of our best friends from class, from TAFE. Including one that we've had on the podcast before, Mr. Ben Van
twice.
Leen and Jason Kingsley. So shout out to you guys. You're doing a hell of a job on that.
Yes, you are.
Hopefully the film comes out sometime soon so that we can promote it on here, pitch it to everyone that we know that, we were a part of this. Come check out this awesome little short film that's being made. So we will give you more information on that when we can. But for now, just keep an eye out for more word on that. And let's get straight into the news then, Barry.
Let's get straight into the news.
All right, before we get into the news, we got some new trailers this week for a bunch of really different things. The first one is a movie called Argyle, starring Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, and a bunch of everyone else.
Yeah.
Did you watch the trailer for this?
That was a trailer, and that's, okay. It's a movie that I'm not looking forward to be honest.
It's kind of weird. It's about a writer, and she's going through a story, and a story's real, and Henry Cavill has the worst haircut ever.
Yes, yep.
That movie looks, it looks really bad. I might watch it just because it looks stupidly fun, bad. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. We also got a trailer for the Goosebumps series coming out on Disney Plus.
That's a Goosebumps
I'm not sure
series?
if this was our first look at it. Yeah, it's you know how they did the Goosebumps movie a while ago with Jack Black?
Yeah.
Looks kind of like that, but it's just like an adaptation of the stories in a series form.
Okay.
That's kind of cool. It doesn't look like it's for me, but yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it. There's some good Goosebumps stories.
Yep.
And we got a first look trailer at Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft, which is an animated series coming to Netflix sometime next year, sorry. That looks really good. That looks cool.
Yeah.
It's coming right hot off the heels of stuff like Castlevania and something else, because we got Netflix's Devil May Cry is getting an anime as well.
Yes, I saw that. That looks very interesting.
A lot of game animated adaptations that look good. I mean, Cyberpunk was the last one that they did.
Yep.
It seems like
Castlevania 1 just dropped yesterday as well. The first season of the new Castlevania series is on Netflix now, so plenty to watch at the moment.
It's insane.
Animated-wise.
Plenty to watch. It's all good so far, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm all for that. All right, now into the big stories this week. Our top story I'm going to kick it off with is the Writers Guild. The writing strike is finally over. After 146 days, they've finally come to a deal with the studios. Apparently, and this is because no official details or lists of things have been out yet. They're still finalizing the paperwork, but they've agreed on it. Apparently, they're getting exactly what they wanted, or at least as close to that as they would have accepted. So we'll find out more about that hopefully in the next week and report back exactly what was agreed on, exactly what's happening, what's changed. This is a great thing because it means that the actors' strike is probably next to come to an end.
Yes, hopefully, very soon.
Hopefully, it marks a new age in film where people get paid what they deserve and they are able to make good quality things. So I'm very happy. The writer's strike is finally over.
Yep. No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
And then moving away from happy news, we've got some sad news because we had a passing of probably one of my favorite acting performers in probably the 21st century. Is Mr. Michael Gambon, Sir Michael Gambon, the actor who portrayed Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies. He passed away at the age of 82. He's pretty much known for that role. He had a bunch of other roles throughout the 80s and 90s. Was in some
Yep.
smaller things, but yeah, he's Dumbledore. I don't think there would ever be another portrayal of Dumbledore that was as good as his.
No,
Um,
but we'll see when they do the TV show remake thing. So
yeah, we'll worry about that then. But yeah, that's some sad news. And then moving on
yeah.
to some news that I'm indifferent about. If you're aware of the controversy behind the Rick and Morty TV show,
Oh
and the
yeah.
firing of
Mm-hmm.
voice actors, one of the co-creators being dropped from the show entirely. Well, they've just brought in new voices for the two titular characters, and people are very mixed on this. There's a huge differing of opinions.
Yes, there
What's
is.
your opinion on them changing the voices to people that sound kind of similar?
Yeah, it's a bit like nerve-wracking because they do sound very much more identical with the characters. And it's two different people as well, isn't it? As
Yeah,
far as we're
apparently,
aware.
but they haven't revealed who the voice actors
Yeah,
are as
yeah.
well, and I think that's because they know that they were gonna get controversy for it, so they've kinda
Yeah, yeah,
kept
yeah,
that
yeah.
secret. But
No, that's good. That's
apparently
good.
it's 2 because they said voice
Okay.
actors, so it's
So
weird that they
yeah, and
sound
it's just
more
weird
similar.
something they sound a lot more similar in that regard where Justin Roiland, the previous voice actor, could actually make them still quite distinct from one another. But that's the thing. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes. Like they're dropping the new season soon enough, type thing, and we'll just have to like watch it. Like I like to see it in the show, and because since it deals with like
Mm.
multiverse stuff for that show, like they can somewhat get away with it. It's just like they just do
Yeah.
multiverse stuff with it. So
They
yeah,
literally could. They could just
literally,
start the new season with the old Rick and Morty dying, and then, "Phew, we're over here, and these ones sound slightly different," and they'll
yeah,
joke about it.
yeah, yep,
Um Which would surprise me. Again, I watched a little bit of Rick and Morty. It's not really for me. It had some funny moments, but it was a little bit meh.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I feel indifferent about it. But yeah, some people were hating on it. Some people were furious. Some people didn't mind. It was a big thing in the internet over the past week. So um, that basically concludes this week's news, Barry. What are we talking
Oh,
about today? What's on the
okay.
agenda?
So on today's agenda, first up, we have an Australian movie we're talking about, a very small independent film
Yeah.
that has become the talk of the town at the moment in all of Hollywood and just about everywhere at the moment. So spoiler warning for everyone. We are going to be talking about
Oh.
Talk to Me, the R-rated
Barry?
new horror film done by the Felipe brothers. I hope I got that right.
It's
Um,
Filippo.
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 Filippo. I even Googled it before and everything like that, and I've already
Oh,
forgotten.
Barry.
Oh my
Another
god. So
name.
basically, the
We gotta stop letting
synopsis.
you do the names.
Yeah, I gotta stop doing the
No
names
more
when I actually
names
let
for
other
you.
people's names. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. So basically, yes, it does cover every single horror film in the past. There's some weird voodoo object type thing that is cursed, and you start playing around with it, which leads to repercussions. But they have done it in such a tremendous little unique way that I kind of dug it, and I see why it has been the talk of the town
Yeah.
at the moment, especially coming from such a small team putting it together on a budget of only $5 million. I haven't looked up
Yes.
what it's actually made at box office right now, but I
I can
knew.
tell you, it has made $72.4 million. So that's
Oh,
like a $68 million turnaround.
yep. So they've done all right. They've
Woo.
done all right. And obviously, yeah, quite a
Oh,
big
hell yeah.
range of new talent as well in it, all young, aspiring actors and actresses. The one big actress was Miranda Otto, Sue. She was obviously in Lord of the Rings as Eowyn. They had to
Oh,
put
yes.
one big name in there.
Name it.
One big
Yeah,
name in
no,
it.
that's fair.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
take it away,
basically
Clayton.
alright, so yeah, basically the movie kinda opens with this cool little one-shot party sequence that got me hooked on the film straight away. I will say I liked this little opening they did as he walks through a party, and I'm especially coming off of filming a short film a couple days prior, going into this with that perspective was really cool because this movie is very creative with its visual style. It has its very
Yes,
unique
yes,
thing. It's very Australian as well, which I liked and is missing in a lot of
yes.
movies. So yeah, it opens with this party scene, and there's this crazy possessed dude in a bedroom, and he stabs a guy, and then stabs himself, and then it's boom, talk to me, title credits, and we're like, okay, that was weird. I kind of dig it. What's going on here? Then we get revealed that what's causing this is a ceramic hand that looks similar like this. It's pointing, it's like that. On YouTube, you'll be able to see this, so watch the YouTube video, guys.
We've
Anyway,
got hands,
so
and there's a
yeah,
hand, and we're shaking hands.
we got hands. On Spotify, you don't know if we have hands.
I have hands. It's a new thing. I just
So
found
yeah,
out
it's
I have
this
hands.
weird looking ceramic hand that when people hold it and say, talk to me, they get to communicate with a spirit, or a
Yep, yep.
ghost, or someone who's died. And if they say let it in, the spirit can take them over for until they get out. So basically, it becomes a little party gimmick as this Maori guy and his friend
Yep,
get hold of it
yep,
and just
yep.
start bringing it to parties and filming people
Yeah.
and messing around with it. And I'm like, you guys are the like stupidest people ever. You guys are messing with this
It's like,
demon
haven't you
hand,
ever
and you
watched a horror movie before?
it was what it felt like because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
liked the opening shot, but the rest of the setup felt kind of flat for me because it felt very teenagers messing with the ghost thing again.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Then I was like, if we had a weird ghost hand, we'd probably mess with it as well. So like,
Probably. I
can
would
you
be the
imagine if
guy
we
like
had a
sitting
ghost hand?
in the
Yeah.
corner. I'll be like, I remember that time where I was messing with voodoo stuff. Did not turn out
Well,
well.
like if we had that ceramic hand up in Lancelin when we were shooting, we definitely would have used it.
Oh
Like, it
yeah.
would have
Oh
been
yeah.
it would have been terrible. So I always kind of push that aside because it's like, oh no, stupid teenagers doing stupid things, and I'm like, yeah, it's because it's kind of what would have happened. Um,
Yeah,
especially because
yeah.
no one was really being hurt with it. Oh,
No, not
until something
yeah,
goes
until something goes
wrong.
wrong. Yeah, so
Yes,
basically
which
the main character we follow in this movie, her name's Mia, played by Sophie Wilde. Basically the
Mhm.
backstory to her is that her mum recently, well, a few years before the movie takes place, her mum passed away. And so obviously she still finds that loss of connection with her mum and everything like that. Until they start messing around with the hand, dealing with spirits and everything like that. And obviously, her mum comes back as a spirit and possesses one of her friends, Riley. And then she's because you only have 90 seconds apparently that you're meant to be holding the hand for or the possession to take over. If you go too much or over, basically bad things start to happen, and which they do because they literally
Oh
just let
no.
Riley go for a full conversation and he went way overboard. And then basically things went down south real quick. He started getting
Oh
possessed, what
boy.
you normally see, and scooping his eyeball out, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah. It took a while for the movie to get to this point. I will
Yes,
say
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
should have come a bit earlier
yeah.
than it did, but the movie itself was 95 minutes long. So I understand the need to at least pad out the thing. And I guess it did make this moment a bit more impactful. I just would have liked to see it sooner. Yeah, and this was obviously the goriest moment in the film, I think, was
Oh
when
yeah,
this kid starts bashing his head on the table,
yep.
he's flipping
Oh,
around,
I would one
starts
up
trying to
that. The most glorious scene, or the most scene I didn't like,
Oh.
was when they saw that kangaroo at the beginning of the film that was hit by the car and it's
Oh,
left there on the
yes.
road. I did not like that. That was quite
I didn't
disturbing.
like that. It was so obviously like a fake thing. It
Yeah,
took me out of it a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah. That's okay. The kangaroo scene was sure. I didn't really mind that stuff. It just kind of added to the Australian element of it, which I
Yeah, but
always
still, I
prefer.
just
I
found
like
it was just like creepy. I was like, like why
Yeah.
does it try to
Yeah.
look like? Because I think it was an animatronic. I did remember watching an interview recently,
That doesn't
and
surprise
yeah,
me.
they had
It kinda had
puppeteers.
janky
So
movements.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's alright.
that's all
Good. So
right.
yeah, your kid smashes his head, tries to kill
Yep,
himself. They pull the
yep,
hand
that's right.
away because if you pull the hand away, ghosts will leave him, but you got to
And
blow
you
out
have to
the
blow out the
candle as well
candle
or
as
something.
well. Yep.
Yeah. So they didn't blow out the candle, and the kid got stuck, and they're like, "Oh no!" And then the police show up, and instead of like investigating, they kind of just get to go on their way. The kid goes to a hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
A
That
little
was a
bit,
bit like
little bit weird. There wasn't more of an investigation
no, they
into
weren't
this.
like testing all the other kids to see if there was drugs and stuff like that involved at the party. And as to be like,
No.
why is this kid nearly dead type thing? Like, what actually happened?
Yeah.
It was more just
And
like,
and
oh,
another
he's just in hospital.
The other thing that surprised me about that as well is the hand doesn't go back with the people that own it after this party. It goes back with Mia for some reason. Like, why did she
Yeah,
get to keep it? I was like, why does she have it? That was so it's like a little moments like that took me out of it because this movie was really well shot, really well done. It's just the overall story and some of the dialogue was a
yeah,
lot to be
yeah,
desired,
yeah,
honestly. It almost every second line felt forced. Um,
yeah, yeah,
but the movie itself, from a technical perspective and from a visual perspective, was really good and interesting enough. The premise of the movie is really cool. It's doing the whole like a Ouija board thing,
yeah.
but or the the ghostly artifact thing, but it's doing it in a different, fun way. So yeah, the premise was good. Some of the visual style was really cool. It's just the dialogue, some of the story moments like that. But that leads to later where Mia decides she wants to talk to her mum some more. Does that?
Oh
She starts
yes,
seeing things.
she starts
She's
seeing
gone all
things.
crazy.
Starts seeing her dead
She
mum. That's
so
actually
yeah,
not her mum, and stuff like that because she
yeah,
got possessed by a
yeah.
weird other spirit demon thing, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know. She keeps doing that. Her ex-boyfriend stays over at her place, and she sucks his toes. That was weird.
That was a weird scene. That was a weird scene.
And
I was
then
like, nope, nope. Quentin
was some
Tarantino
of
would have
the
loved that, but no, no.
yeah, so stuff like that starts happening.
Yep.
They all kind of team up to try and fix things, save the brother, and they find out that the only way to save him is to kill him. And so Mia goes over and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna put him out of his misery." He like loops it in, accidentally kills her dad. That
Yes,
was
that's
pretty
right. Yep.
sad.
That was pretty sad.
He was
Well,
such
no,
like a
he
nice
survived.
guy.
He survived. He survived.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Just didn't call an ambulance or anything to help him. She okay.
No, because at this
Yeah.
point she was like already taken over, believing that the spirit thing was her mum and telling her the right thing to do, and
Yeah.
it wasn't because they got told by the guy that got stabbed at the beginning of the film who survived from his brother. Was like just leave him alone type thing. You know, they go away eventually.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, we have to use it to help Riley, and that just led it to more worse things and everything like that. And she started seeing
What
things,
worse
and then she
things?
became possessed, and then she basically
Yeah.
goes and kills the Riley with in a
Goes
wheelchair.
to
And, well, yeah, tries
Yeah,
attempts to.
she grabs Riley out of the hospital, runs
That's
down
right,
to a highway, goes to
and tries to
push him
throw him in front of her.
over,
Yeah,
and then we're not quite sure if she jumps or if the other girl moved her. It's kind of
yeah.
a little
Well,
bit vague
obviously,
because
at
it
one
yeah.
point, Mia ended up getting hit by a car, and she
Yes,
dies.
Mia dies, and this was probably one of my favorite little segments. Is a little
Yes,
2 minute, even
this
though
was very
the
well
build
done.
up didn't make sense. It's the whole
Nope.
she kind of stood up on the highway, was like walking around. No one was checking on her. They were looking. She looks at Riley, and then she
Yep.
wanders into the hospital, and no one knows.
Yep.
And then she doesn't see her reflection. And I'm like, that little 2 minutes was really cool.
Yeah.
I just wish that the meaning of the 2 minutes was a little bit better done. Um,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but like, I mean, it was cool. It was a really cool movie. And this is a first film. The directors of this had never made a movie.
No,
Never done a
no, this
feature.
is their first time going into a big film and getting it all made. And that's the thing, it's obviously still on a budget of 5 million, which is a lot more budget than what we were working with the past week on our short film, and everything like that.
Yeah,
And it was still amazing to see,
even
yeah,
so.
like a small film like this coming out of Australia and just to see like how big of a film it has become now from such a small concept idea and a very small cast as well. And like kind of
Mhm.
small locations and everything like that, and it works for the most part. Like, you know, I would comfortably say this is one of the best horror films I've seen in the past decade. Most certainly,
Yeah,
or better
yeah,
one. Definitely the best one I've seen this year. That's for sure. Yeah, because it's just like it's an
yeah,
interesting concept on how they did it all. But yeah, how it all went around, the story wise and everything like that was kind of a bit lackluster. And also as well, I didn't really like the performance of the actress that played Mia. I felt most of the time with her stuff felt
yeah.
kind of flat, but that was with like
Mm.
a lot of the kid
Yeah,
characters
I
as
feel like
well.
that was across every character. Every character felt
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
forced. Maybe
Yes,
the
yeah.
dad because he didn't do much. But yeah, all of the main ones, it kind of felt like they were doing the things just because that's where the movie had to go, not because that's what they would have done. And I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
it works well enough for the movie to work, but it
Yep.
could have been so much better, and that's probably due to the small scale. I mean, these are all like first time low actors, first time filmmakers, first time directors directing the actors
Yes.
as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
So
As well.
considering
So.
that the movie is doing as well as it is, and worldwide as well as it is a huge performance. It's a huge like thing. We want to praise these filmmakers because
Oh
clearly
yes.
they know how to make a movie. And I'm
Yep. Yep.
very excited to see what they do next because now they have an extra 70 million just in their pockets, that they can
Oh
use for the
yeah. Well,
next
that's the
one.
thing because they've already announced they are doing a sequel to this movie, which obviously at
Okay.
the end of this one can lead to that. I wonder where it will follow though, because I
Uh,
really want to see this universe and about these hands and everything like kind of expanded out almost. It's almost like The Conjuring in a
Hmm.
way. Like the Conjuring started like that
Yeah.
weird little universe, but like don't go too far with it. Like The Conjuring got a bit weird
No.
with all its stuff, a bit
Got
too
weird after,
much.
like, the second one, yeah, and then they
Yeah,
did, like, The
yeah,
Nun and yeah.
and all
So,
that type of stuff.
yeah, I would like a sequel. I would
Yeah, yeah,
probably honestly like it to take sort of like an Evil Dead sorta route where instead of a book going
yeah,
around, it's
yeah.
the hand. I feel like we could do some interesting stuff with that, but I feel like, yeah, they just need to refine dialogue, mostly,
Yes,
because honestly,
yes,
if the
yes.
dialogue's really good, the performance comes really good.
Yep, yep.
And I'm a stickler for dialogue and writing in movies. It's like one of
Yes.
the things I really want to focus on, and one of the things I really enjoy doing. So whenever dialogue is off, it takes me straight out of it because I'm like, you should have done this, you should have done this. Doing
Oh yeah,
this would have been
yeah.
better. Why that word doesn't work? Stuff like that. So that's probably why I'm such a stickler for it. I'm sure for the majority of general audiences, it's not going to bother you. This is going to be a good, fun horror movie. And yeah, probably, and at least out of Australia, it's definitely probably the best thing since the Babadook. I didn't really
Oh
like that
yeah,
one. I thought that one
yeah,
was, again,
yeah,
a cool premise, but not done was really well. So it's on a
yeah.
similar sort of level to that. If you've seen
Yep.
that, you'll probably know what you're in for with this one. But again, it's a cool little movie. So unless you want to talk about it anymore, do you want to jump into final thoughts and ratings?
No, we can get to final thoughts and
Talk to
ratings
me.
for it.
Talk to me,
Yeah.
Barry.
Talk to me. I'll talk to you about my final thoughts and ratings about Talk to Me. Well, I kept calling it Talk to Us for some reason. All this
Yeah.
past week, I
Oh no,
kept saying
because
Talk to
because
Us.
I remember I said that's what the sequel should be called. I said they should call the sequel Talk to Us.
Ah, okay, yeah. So
I
hopefully they
think
call the
that's where you
sequel
got that
Talk
from.
to Us. Yeah.
I want to
That
write
would
in
be,
credit if they do.
yeah, if they do.
Yeah.
We said it first.
Should
Hey, we'll help you
should
write the
message
second one.
them.
Yeah, we probably should.
You should call it this.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, it's great to see. Like, again, we just have to reiterate, like, a small Australian film getting the recognition it deserves with Australian casting and everything like that, and Australian directors and writers and everything like that, and seeing how big it's become and everything like that now. But yeah, it did fell flat most part in the story and the performances and just the dialogue as well. It was literally like, even when they were just having normal conversations with one another and everything like that, it was just like, you don't talk like that with other people. Like, it was just like,
No,
okay.
no.
And it goes to the same trope, and this is why I don't like a lot of horror films and everything like that. It always gets to the point where, like, we've never seen a horror film before. They don't exist in our universe, so we're gonna do some stupid thing all over again. Where, like,
Yeah.
other certain horror films and everything like, they kind of play with it a bit more. They get like, they don't take it so seriously. Like, they understand the areas where,
Mhm.
like, every single actor in this was just like, oh, we'll take the serious type thing, but they're doing the most stupid decisions in those ways type thing on going about it. So I'm going to give it probably a 5 out of 10 um for Talk to
Okay.
Me. Just because, yeah, I did enjoy it still and everything like that. I feel like the groundwork has been laid for hopefully a better sequel. I really want to see where
Mhm.
they take this for the sequel now and everything like that, because I feel like there's so much more they could do to the story. Like, where does the hand come from and everything like that? Or maybe they might follow
Yeah.
Mia's perspective still. We don't know. And
Who
there's a lot
knows?
of things they could be explored with a sequel to do this. So yeah, that's my final thoughts for Talk to Me.
5
What are yours,
out of
Clayton?
10. That's pretty well, yeah, I feel like again, there's a lot of potential for a sequel. I feel like they
Yeah.
could go Evil Dead 2 route with it and maybe have
Yes.
some fun. Do
Yeah.
a similar sort of thing to that, or they could, yeah, just improve on the things that made this film really good, and then,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
fix the things that I didn't like about it. Like you were saying, the dialogue, writing, it brings the film down for me, and I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
that might even be just us being filmmakers and
Oh
writers,
yeah. Well, that's Mo, because
because
you
it
and I
seems
are
like
writing so much at the moment for so many things and everything like that.
Yeah, or yeah,
So
we're
we're going
writing
through
every day.
those things. Yeah, literally.
Literally doing writing every day, and dialogue is one of the hardest things to get right in
Yes,
any
yes.
movie ever.
Yep.
And the fact that they've done well enough for this to become an international hit on such a low budget is really impressive. So I've got to give it a 6 out of 10 just for the feat alone. The movie itself is enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. We are talking a lot of hate for it, but it is actually a fun movie. The
No,
premise
yeah,
is
yeah.
cool.
No, I
Yeah,
do recommend for people to actually go and watch this. Like I said, this is one of the best horror films I've seen in the past decade. And I don't like horror films. The only ones I do like is like all the 80s ones, like Evil Dead and everything like that. It's because they're so unique and so like no one does anything like that anymore. But this one is
yeah.
definitely like it's a step up, you know. We're getting back to like good horror films again and everything like that. So
Yeah, horror as a genre is hard to get right because it
yes,
feels like
yes.
all of the tropes have been done. It's hard. You cannot make a horror movie without it being compared to another horror movie.
Yep,
It's
yep,
impossible, like physically impossible. Never ever going to be done again.
yep, yep.
And the fact that it does some things unique, it's great. It's awesome. I love it. Um, but yeah, it makes me wish this movie was more. But also because it was a first time movie, it makes me wish that the sequel is more. And I feel like that's where we're at. Is these guys here prove
Yes.
they know how to make an amazingly visually interesting film. The shots and stuff in this movie are great. All the special
Oh
effects and the
yes.
makeup is
Yep, yep,
insane.
yep.
Awesome. It's top tier. There isn't a demon or a dude that's dead or anything that looks anything but real in this
Yeah,
movie. It's
yep, yep.
all insane. All of the violence is grotesque and gory and perfect. Yes, just some of the performances and writing that bring it down to a 6 out of 10. But, yeah, go check
Hmm.
it out, especially if you like horror or you wanna support Australian films like we do,
Yes.
because
Yep, yep.
hopefully this will be us in a few years making something like this, you know?
Yeah,
Who
well,
knows?
hopefully very soon. We don't know. All
Who knows?
right,
That would be the
so
dream. Alright.
let's get on to obviously the second subject of tonight, which, as always, at the moment we are watching Ahsoka
Oh.
season 1, episode 7 or part 7. Yes, we're back. We're back on watching Ahsoka again. So in this week's episode, Hera must answer to the New Republic while a reunion takes place far, far away. So obviously, this episode, we start out at the New Republic headquarters, whatever you want to call it, having a meeting with the actions that took place a couple episodes ago of Hera basically not, well, doing what they said and everything like that and helping Ahsoka. And now she's getting reprimanded for it and everything like that. Until a very familiar person came in to see it and helped her out with all that. So yes, they actually had Anthony Daniels come back to play C-3PO in this
Yeah,
episode,
man.
which I was not expecting, and especially when
It was
it's
so
actually
cool to
Anthony
see.
Daniels himself, which was
Yeah.
even more interesting. Because
It
obviously,
was
yeah,
really cool. We were debating whether it was him or not. We were
yep,
talking with
yep,
the
yep.
people we were watching with, like, is that Anthony Daniels? Is that just some guy? It's so cool to see C3PO come back. And
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I like that scene. Again, it had the rebel, the bad senator going like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, yada yada. I know you were in
Ah,
all of the
it's a
movies and
myth
saved the
that Thrawn's
galaxy, yada yada."
exists. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some of that stupid thing carries over, but there's less
Yep,
of
yep.
that this episode, which is good because then what
Yeah.
happens, Barry?
And then what happens? Ahsoka and Huyang. Oh, actually, before we go into that, Ahsoka is training in her ship while it's still in hyperspace because she's still inside the
Oh
whale.
yes.
And there's a little holocron training video of Hayden Christensen yet again, and it actually is Hayden Christensen this time, and he seems to look even better in the hologram than he did in like the past episodes. It actually looks like him this time, which was really cool to see because, you know, she's training because she knows she's going to have to fight Balin once again. She knows that fight's coming, so she's doing the dual wielding lightsabing. And then her and Huyang finally make it to the new planet, to the new universe in the hyper whales, the Purgles, only to be, well, unprepared for basically there's an entire minefield that Thrawn has already laid out for them. And so they basically exit the Purgle, trying to go through this minefield, and then the Purgles just leave them behind because they're like, we're not putting up with this. That's their problem now. They basically leave them behind out of cover, and then they have to hide and escape, and they hide in the asteroid field, or the dead whale asteroid field anyway. and waiting to see what happens next.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, and then basically
That's
from
pretty
there
much.
we get Thrawn aware that she has made it into here, and then he finds out that she is none other than the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. And you can
What?
see on his face, like his changed reactions because obviously he knows who Anakin is. He know he became Darth Vader and stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh, wait a minute now. I'm gonna have to change my tactics a little bit." And this just puts it down to how well of a character Thrawn is written and how Dave Filoni just understands so much. And I cannot wait to see what happens in the movie trilogy they're setting up for Thrawn and everything like that now. It's just going to be so cool just to see an actual good villain in Star Wars again. That is just terrifying.
I know.
Because, yeah, he changes up his tactics. He gets the Night Sisters involved to help him out, being like, I need you to track down Ahsoka for me and find out where she is. Because then Ahsoka tries to use the Force to connect with Sabine, and then she finds it. And then also the Night Sisters hijack along that line of the connection, and they find her. And then she's on the run again. All the stuff happens. And then we have Ezra and Sabine with the hermit people yet again. And I love these hermit little crab people.
Yeah.
Crab people. Crab people. And, you know, they're reminiscing about the events of the original trilogy, basically how the Empire fell. And then we do get a line of when he asks about Palpatine died. And Sabine says, well, that's what some people say. Obviously making it, a little bit up in the air about what's happening because of the sequel trilogies and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously for them to be attacked by the little what are they? I don't know what they're called. The other local people that ride the hounds and stuff like the mercenary dudes. Yeah. And obviously you got Balin and Harty and everything like that. And at this point as well, this is another interesting point with Balin's character. Sets his apprentice free, essentially. Because and this is another this mystery. We can get back to it once we covered it all with Balin's character. He is the most mysterious, probably the most outstanding character in this show at this point. Even though we have Thrawn and everything like that, and we had Hayden Christensen come back, but it's this Balin's character. I'm just like, what is he doing next? Like, we don't know what his intentions are because his intentions are so totally different to everyone, even his apprentice. Like, he let his apprentice go to seek her own path now because she's not ready for what he's doing type thing. And that's just led to a whole other big fan theory going on the internet at the moment because of it. So obviously from there, Sabine and Ezra get attacked by them, and then the stormtroopers come in because Thrawn sent Garrison out, well, just a few of them out anyway, and just to test out Ahsoka's skills as well a little bit, almost. And then we also have Balin and Ahsoka fight again in this episode. I forget about that. Was a bit up in the air a bit with the sword fighting again. They definitely, if they do a season 2, or hopefully for the films anyway, they do need to improve upon the sword fighting a lot, I reckon, just to make him, you got that Phantom of the Menace Darth Maul level and what they did Revenge of the Sith and everything like that level. But obviously it's kind of a stalemate again this time around, because obviously even Balin still is somewhat winning in that fight against her, until she's assisted by Huyang in the ship and makes an explosion while she just runs away and just leaves him there. And he's just like, I don't want to kill her anyway. Oh, well. But he was kind of happy to see her alive, though. That was cool because he doesn't want to kill more Jedi. He just thinks it's a waste. And then obviously after all that, she comes in, saves the day, and then meets up with Sabine and Ezra and huggy wuggies. She laughs a little bit seeing Ezra. And then Thrawn basically sees this defeat kind of a win, a victory for him, because she's lost time for Thrawn's master plan, which is whatever's in that cargo they were pulling in from last episode, which they're nearly completed. And that's basically the gist of this week's story. So what do you think, Clayton? What do you think of this week's episode of Ahsoka?
All right. Going into this is obviously the episode that sets up the finale, and
yes,
I will say it felt like just on par with the other ones that we've seen. It hasn't dropped in quality; it stayed the same. My criticisms of the show are staying the same throughout this entire episode, with some of the dialogue some of the choreography, most of the
Yes.
choreography in the action
Yep.
scenes.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, it feels like the show's consistently good, which isn't a bad thing. I wish this episode took it up another level. I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
we're in for it in the finale because stuff like
Oh
Balin's character
yes.
being mysterious and we still don't know what he's up to. I love
Nope.
that. I love it when they
Nope.
just don't reveal what's happening. It's the show don't tell rule of filmmaking.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
like, oh, he's not going to tell us what he wants. We'll just see it when it happens. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
that feels like it's being handled really well. The stuff with Ezra, not so much. I feel like
Yeah.
his character in this might have been letting it down a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's
considering I
and
don't
then
know
yeah.
too
Because have you
much
watched
about him,
Rebels?
it was yeah. I've seen some of Rebels, and I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know a bit about him and how he acts and stuff, but it just felt a little bit weird. Um, yeah, but yeah, and so that stuff was alright. Ahsoka again gets sidelined in her own show. Thrawn is like the
Yeah. Yeah.
coolest villain ever.
Yep. Yep.
He's just steals the show again whenever he's on screen.
Yep.
It's the show is where it is now. This episode is just none of the mysteries have been answered.
No.
Setting up for the
No.
finale, where hopefully we get answers to everything. I don't know how they're gonna answer everything. It feels like they won't. It would be really good if they do.
I hope so too.
Um, so yeah, it
Um.
feels definitely a lot of setup.
Yeah. Because
No
that's the thing.
payoffs
There's like
for
there's like
anything yet.
two different things going on at the moment in the show because
Yeah,
there's so many characters in the show. And I'm glad they're not
there is a
like
lot.
adding in too much more because and yeah, this is where for this episode anyway, it kind of fell short from the last two, in my opinion. Just because yeah, it started to get more convoluted again. Of just having
Yeah,
the
okay.
attention on all these other characters and stuff like that and having their own topics. And where it was just like, no, we should have just been like following a bit more on this character, a bit more this
Yeah.
episode. You know what I felt like? And that's the thing
Mhm.
with like Balin's one and everything like that. I feel like we should have seen a bit more of him, and like we could have got rid of like the whole Hera scene and everything like that. I just felt like that to start off the episode
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it just
probably.
felt a bit like slow to like get the ball rolling a bit for
Mm.
this week's episode as well. Because that's the thing at the moment we have Balin and where his interest lies, which is not with Thrawn and anything like that, is something on this planet, and then you've got whatever Thrawn's trying to do as well, because obviously he's ready to go back to the main galaxy and get sorted, but he also has a master
Yeah.
plan or something going on in those cargo things. And they also got like the Night Sisters, they like got their thing as well, and it's a lot. But yeah, it's still been on pace, going through the flow with Ahsoka and everything like that, and it is still bringing back that overall like what Star Wars should be. Like there is that mysteriousness to it type thing. I always felt like that was the thing with especially the original trilogy when like they were developing a lot more and stuff like that. They would talk about stuff and everything like that.
Yeah,
And then
yep.
they would just be like, oh, we'll cover that like later down the line type thing. But there was always like a mystery to it, like of all these things they talked about. And especially when Dave Filoni started creating the Clone Wars with George Lucas and everything like that, that was very much in the same vein where they were talking about all this stuff, all this other things were going on, and it left to the overall mystery and the adventures of Star Wars and everything like that. And I feel like he's definitely doing the same thing in the show, which I really enjoy and everything like that. But it's just, I'm hoping that we get those answers resolved and resolved in a good way, like it doesn't come too
Yeah.
quick. It would just like one sentence type thing. And where it's just like somehow
Yeah.
Palpatine returned.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
want that type of thing.
I don't feel like that'll be the case, considering
No,
there's
no,
such a
no.
huge plan for everyone involved in this show.
Yep,
It
yep.
feels a lot, but it also because there's a huge plan for everyone in this show, it makes me feel like not much is gonna get resolved next week. It makes me think it's just
Yes.
gonna cliffhanger. Thrawn's back to the universe. What are we gonna do now? Wait 2 years for a movie? That's,
Yep, yep.
I don't want that to be the case. I mean,
Well,
in the
that's the thing.
long
Even
run,
if there
that
might
might
be
be a
like a
good thing,
season
but
two of
yeah,
Ahsoka potentially, we don't know yet. They haven't announced
who
anything
knows?
quite yet with things.
Just I hope
Um,
the show can come to a satisfying conclusion because it's been
yes,
really good.
yes, yep,
All the performances are great. Everything visual is really cool. It's just some
yeah,
dialogue, some
yeah,
choreography that's letting it down.
yep,
Um, it feels really good, and it's definitely filling a place of Star Wars where it's giving us the fun, expanded side of things. It's expanding on other galaxies and
yes, yeah,
mysteries of the
yeah, yeah,
Force and Jedi that aren't quite bad or good.
yep,
It's
yep.
this cool look into the universe that we haven't really got much of. And
No, no.
considering most of Star Wars sucks, and they're like half and half, it's the rule of two.
Yeah,
There has
it's
to
the
be
rule of
balance in
two.
Star
Yeah,
Wars.
there has to be balance to the force. That's what it is, all right? It's how Star
Yeah,
Wars
Star
works.
Wars
It
bad
has to
Star
be
Wars.
good
It's
and then
still
it
in
has to be
good
bad.
Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Still
still
in
in
good
good Star
Star
Wars.
Wars. So,
And that's another thing. That's why I've been really happy about with this show. It has remained consistent all throughout it.
yes.
And
Yeah.
I so
There's not.
like so did like Andor in its own way and everything like that. But this is the thing about
Yeah.
like the difference between Andor and Ahsoka, where Andor very much did a darker tone and kept it like grounded and everything like that. Where with
Yeah.
Dave Filoni and Ahsoka, he was just like, oh, we've got new galaxies. Oh, we're bringing Thrawn back. Oh, there's this big mysterious entity this guy's searching for, you know? And it's all
Yeah.
been done well. Like he's bringing these massive, wild new things into the lore of Star Wars now. Like he's literally changed Star Wars again, adding on all these things and stuff like that. And it's done well. Like it hasn't done it bad or not yet anyway. And you know, and like we're saying, this hopefully it does get resolved in a nice way and everything like that. That all the build up for the show, and that's the thing. Because I think we're going to get a 40-minute or less than 40-minute episode next week.
I
So
don't
it's
know,
going to
man.
be interesting to find out to see how well they actually wrap it all up, and then what is it going to lead
Yeah.
to? You know, are they going to announce that Ahsoka gets to season 2, or are they just going to be like, oh, we're going straight into the films now? But they
Knows.
haven't said anything
Knows.
about that yet. And so we'll wait to
Mm.
see where the time comes. But yes, obviously the major standout as well today was Lars Mikkelsen as Grand Admiral Thrawn. And
Oh hell yeah.
we just can't get enough of him. He is just great.
Yeah. I would love a Thrawn show, honestly. Have a villain side
yeah.
thing. Or have one
I
of
would
the
actually
movies
watch
be
that.
from his
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
yeah.
if the first Thrawn movie is just him putting together an army and conquering
Yeah.
planets and building up strength before we switch over to the heroes for the second or third movie?
That
You know
would
how
be
different
absolutely
that would be?
amazing.
It would be
Wow.
so cool because again,
That
that would be
would be
something
so
we
cool.
don't get to see.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that would be awesome. We don't get to see enough of the bad guy side of things
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
Just straight up call the
yeah.
first movie Thrawn.
Yeah, even if they did like the book things and they make it call
Yeah.
it like Thrawn Ascendancy or something, and it's just him
Yeah.
focusing on him the whole time. We follow him around doing things, and
Yep.
honestly, his performance alone could carry that movie.
Yeah.
It feels like it. I mean, hopefully Filoni somehow gets that idea and puts it through. Filoni, if you're listening, do that
Hey,
movie.
Filoni, whenever you're an avid listener, just do what we say. We'll write it for you as well. You know, you got us here.
Yeah, so there's definitely so much potential, and like you said, the show's been so consistently good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard, and it makes it hard to talk about because it's been consistently good. And this is a setup episode. It's like we can talk about what happens, but then we got to wait to tell you about how it
what happens in
plays
next
off
week.
because
So before
we don't know.
because I actually want to go into predictions on what you think for next episode. So do you want to quickly wrap it up and
Ooh.
say our final thoughts
Yeah,
and
alright.
thought on this one? So I'm giving this episode an 8.5. Yeah, I felt like this episode, it just started a bit too slow for me than compared to what the other two are, and just wasn't like the overall hype factor to it because it's still leading into the final episode type thing. And I also felt as well, still the whole thing with Ezra's character, I'm still not quite liking it. I liked it a bit more than last week, but it's still just like they're not asking the reasons why his house Sabine got here and everything like that. And he's just like, I use the Force now. I don't need a lightsaber. That type of thing. And so yeah. So what are your final thoughts, Clayton?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. I'm giving the episode an 8 out of 10. It's consistently good, but yeah, decisions. It's writing that's letting it down. Writing and lightsaber choreography. The things with like some of the characters, some of the lines. Some of it feels very forced and flat. Same sort of issues that Talk to Me had, I'd probably agree. It still looks really amazing. The soundtrack is really good.
Yeah,
Everything
I
we're
know.
seeing
I
is
was
great.
looking so much at all the practical effects for this episode. I don't know why. It was just like all the crab people and stuff like that, and the little caravan things. I was just looking at it all, and then like at the backgrounds and stuff like that. I was just like, this is so great
good.
just to watch again. Like it's just like this is what Star Wars is meant to be. This is what it is.
It looks really good.
It looks really good. So before we wrap up tonight's podcast, anyway, we'll talk about our predictions for episode 8, which is going to be the finale of Ahsoka. And I can't believe 7 weeks have already gone by. Well, 6 weeks, logic, because the first week was a 2 premiere. So yeah, what are your predictions and hopeful final thoughts for episode 8 of Ahsoka?
Okay. Predictions. Oh, all right. So what I hope for or what I think is going to happen? Because they're
What
they're
you
slightly
hope
different.
for, and okay, let's start with what you think is going to happen.
Okay, what I think is going to happen is Ahsoka's now with Ezra, right? So they're going to get together. They're going to
Yep,
need to find a way back to the galaxy. So they're obviously going to try and tag along onto the Star Destroyer as it's leaving, packing it
yep,
up. They're just going to make it on somehow. There's going to
yep,
be a confrontation with Thrawn. They're going to get back to the other galaxy. Hera's going to show up, and then Thrawn's going to get away, and that's how it ends. There
yep.
might be a bit of a battle, but it's going to end with no one dying. It's going to be like oh no, we got back, but Thrawn's in the universe.
Yeah,
That's how it's
yeah,
going to
yeah,
end.
yeah. Okay,
Don't
okay. So
don't
what are
think it's going to
your hopes then? What are your hopes on how
I
it's going to
hope.
end?
Oh, I hope and this is gonna be really insane, but I hope Thrawn kills like everyone in the new galaxy. I hope he kills Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine, Huyang, and gets away.
Yep,
Then Hera
yep,
shows up, and it's like, what the hell's going on? And Thrawn's like shown up as this huge threat as the end of the show ends on a bad note. Like
yeah,
we kill
yeah,
Ahsoka, something like that. Or even if we don't kill her, we like kill Ezra and Sabine, and Ahsoka's like brutally injured on Thrawn's ship or something, and
yeah,
gets
yep.
I don't know saved somehow that way. I hope Thrawn wins. I know it won't happen. If it does, I will be so surprised. But
Oh
it
yeah,
feels
yeah.
like I hope that because we don't see that. Don't. It's gonna be the most generic ending of they get back and they get away, and that's how it ends. See what
Well,
happens next time.
I wouldn't be so sure of that, bud.
Oh,
Because yeah, my thoughts on what's leading to and everything like that, and this may or may not be also part due to apparent leaks as well, that I have
oh,
read
you're
online.
cheating. You're cheating.
So yes, I'm not sure how valid these leaks are and everything like that because they couldn't find the actual source to them. But my thoughts for next week's episode is that, especially even in this episode, it already like some of the lines Ezra, what he was saying. He's like, "Oh, I'm definitely making it back home." I'm just like, Ezra's going to die next week. He said it so many times this episode. I'm just like, you're dead.
Yeah.
I feel like Dave
Hopefully.
Filoni, being the writer that he is, and like how much of a change up already this season has been with a lot of new elements, where he's just like, I know Thrawn. What he has the most. He knows Thrawn is a big bad guy. So I'm going to have to show everyone who's watching the finale of the show how much of a bad guy he truly is. So yeah, my thoughts is that probably Ezra, most likely Ezra, is not leaving this planet. He is not making it back to the new galaxy.
Okay.
He's going to die on this planet. I also have a feeling Ray Stevenson's Balin's character is probably going to die at some point as well. He's probably got to find like this
Yeah, that wouldn't
mysterious thing,
surprise me.
or something like that. And that's the thing, because it's just like, what are they going to do with his character if they do keep him alive, type thing? Or he just might get stuck on that
they really
planet.
can't.
He just might get stuck on that planet, you know?
Maybe.
But yeah, my overall ideas on what I want them to do is, yeah, basically when they go back to the new galaxy, hopefully towards that later part of next week's episode, whatever Thrawn's been planning in those cargo things or something like that is such a major
Yeah.
threat that it ends on like the biggest cliffhanger of making him look
Oh, I
more
hate you,
evil
Barry.
than Darth Vader. You know, I want him to blow up
Oh,
a planet or something with like innocent
Barry,
people and
man.
everything like that. And like you said, I hope, yeah, like
Ooh.
Ahsoka and Sabine get really badly damaged, like almost on the level of dying type thing. Or he might just kill the entire New Republic fleet when he gets back. You know, I
Yeah, it could
want
be. It's a
something
possibility.
along those lines to happen. I really hope, my hopes are for next week, they don't kill off Hu Yang, because if they kill Hu Yang off, I'm going to riot.
I feel
Because
like
he
Hu
is
Yang might be kicking it, man.
yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah, it
Hu
wouldn't
Yang
surprise
is
me.
so great. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just like, it's still such a mystery and up in the air as to what's going to actually happen. Because this is the thing now, they're
Yeah.
setting up for this villain where even as avid viewers and everything like that, you can't really, you don't know what you don't know what Thrawn's going to do next, essentially. Because normally in most films and TV shows, when you have a villain or a hero, they go down a very predictable plot. Like, yes, I am evil, I am going to do this next. Or I am good, I
Yeah.
am going to do this next. You know, they follow that same storyline routine and everything like that. But with Thrawn, he's just like, okay, I'm somewhere in between. You know, I can either do this or I can do this. You're not going to find out. And that's what makes him just so terrifying and great. And and the whole
It's so
thing with
fun to
Balin's
watch.
it's so fun to watch. His
Yeah.
performance, like I was worried because obviously it's the same voice actor they used for Rebels and everything like that. I was really worried about how it would come to be shown live action with that same actor. Like, does he have the capabilities
He's
doing it
spot
physically and stuff
on.
like that? He is
Yeah.
spot on. He is absolutely spot
Oh,
on.
yeah.
But also as well with Balin's character, I really hope whatever he's seeking or whatever it is, like that story ends in a way that builds more mystery upon the Star Wars universe. Like, what is calling to him, type thing. Because there's so many big theories going around the internet at the moment, and it has to be something pretty big, type thing, as to what it is. And I hope that it sticks the landing with his storyline for next week's episode, and we find out truly as to what it is. And yeah. So that's basically, I feel like a recap of part 7 anyway, called Dreams and Madness.
Yeah.
That's what's the title episode, and that I feel like is a wrap on tonight's episode.
Wow. I feel like it is. I feel like we've covered it as much as we can. Next week's episode.
Now it's have to wait for next week. Yes, it is.
Oh boy.
Because that's the thing. It's going to be a big season finale. That's for sure.
It will be. All right. Stay tuned, everyone.
Stay
tuned.
tuned.
Same bat channel.
So thanks for listening, everyone, and also watching on the YouTube version. As always, you can see our wonderful faces, and we also have a director's cut where we go for a little bit longer. And in tonight's director's cut, we will be talking about more stuff, so make sure to go and watch the YouTube version as well. And that has been everything from here at We Talk Film.
Oh. Director's cut.
The director's cut.
Barry.
Oh boy. So, yes, we discussed today. You kick Craig out.
Kick Craig out.
Kickity Craig.
Craig. Kickity Craig.
Kickity Craig. Gone. He gone forever. I still have to adjust the things on my the OBS side of things, because when we kick Craig out, it changes all the positions of the cameras and stuff like that. So I just put up the logo because I can't be bothered changing it. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to fix that somehow.
Nice.
So what do you want to talk about director's podcast?
Oh, no.
Director's cut.
Well, I suppose we can talk a little bit about what we did this week, Barry.
Yes.
We were up in Lancelin filming a short film, and we won't talk too much about the film itself.
Not quite yet, anyway. Clayton, you still there? Oh.
Talk about our experiences on the film of us have made ourselves in collaboration with some really important filmmakers.
Yep. You're cutting it out.
Lost you for a second. Oh, I lost you for a second. I was so confused.
Yep.
Am I back now?
Yeah, you're back now. You're back.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we were up in Lancelin filming a short film. This is the biggest thing that we've worked on in collaboration with some really amazing filmmakers that are friends of ours.
Yep.
We were so happy to be a part of this. It was definitely an amazing experience. We got a lot done over 3 days of filming with proper actors and proper crew. It was really insane.
This was
what was your role?
Yeah, so my role on this was AC and data wrangler, which I hopefully did very well, coming from the shots that I've seen anyway, because I wasn't able to preview it because obviously we worked on a limited budget and everything like that. We didn't have the best of equipment looking at stuff. We had this real cheap laptop, and so I couldn't preview it because we were obviously filming on a very high-end camera that needs certain drivers for, and it works on certain computers and stuff like that. But from what I've seen anyway, and from what we were filming, it looked spectacular. There are some amazing shots that we have set up for this short film that was just mind-blowing on how well we got it to look in some of the scenes and the locations that we're working on and stuff like that. It's absolutely tremendous. And then that was my role. So what was your role, Clayton?
Oh boy. So I was unit manager officially, but I was also runner. I was also assistant lighting.
Yep.
So I guess that makes me best boy because I was head lighting assistant. So
Yep.
I was best boy, runner, unit manager. I was also making the behind the scenes documentary of the film that we were working
Yes.
on.
And
The whole time we were out there
which the
filming,
whole time.
I was filming as well.
And then I
Making a
also have a
doco
picture
film.
of you filming Ben, who was one of the directors and the DOP. Yeah, you were filming him while he was filming a scene, and I was like on my phone. I was like, hee. It's like I'm gonna make a film of
Yeah,
you filming
so
him filming.
whoa,
Getting meta.
Inception. No, that's really cool. It was lots of fun. We got to meet some amazing people
Yeah,
and
we worked with
work with
some
some
amazing
people that
people as well. So
hopefully we get to work with these people again because it went
yes,
really well.
yes,
Really good, really fun,
yep.
and a really unique
Yeah, no,
experience.
especially for
So
our first like thing we're ever doing together and stuff like that, or the first big thing that we're
yeah.
trying to work on and stuff like that. This went surprisingly well. And hats off to Jason
Did
and Ben yet again for getting
yes.
all this together and actually having the idea. Well, Ben was the writer for the film and having this idea to get it all
Mhm.
together. And it's just, I really hope it comes out tremendously and everything like that, because obviously it just has to go to the
I hope
editor
so
now
too.
and get that all sorted. And it's still going to be a process of all that side, and I don't know how many like revisions and cuts and everything's going to happen for it. But I hope soon enough people will be able to view it. We get to view it, and hopefully it starts a massive career for them, and everyone involved as well. Like hopefully people do,
Yeah,
when other
hopefully.
people start to see it, they actually really like it. So
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, we had an amazing crew out there, and considering it was a really small crew, we only had about 12-ish people, I want to say. It
yeah, yep,
wasn't that many. It was all students from our class, or at least adjacent, apart from the
yep,
actors
yep,
and the editor.
yep,
So yeah, no, it was just members from our cast, some that have been on the podcast before, like Ben, some that we plan to have on, like Tyson, the sound guy on the film,
yep,
and then
yep,
a whole bunch of people. So it was amazing to go from the start of the year where we all met each other for the first time. We're in the same class course talking about how much we want to make movies until
yep.
getting up to this point near the end of the year where we've actually started doing that, because
I
this short
know.
film could be the start of every single person involved's career. I mean,
Yes,
everyone
yes,
here wants to work with each other again. They want to make more similar things. I am starting to plan something similar to hopefully film over the big holidays,
yep, yep.
probably up my way, depending on how writing and that goes. But if something like that does happen, I'll definitely be getting back the same sort of crew because
Oh yeah,
it
oh
went
yeah.
so well, and the
So
stuff,
well.
at least the raw footage that I was seeing, looks amazing. I'm so glad to have Ben just as a friend with the camera equipment that he's got and his
Oh yeah,
knowledge of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
filming.
No, we're so
Because
grateful that we were able to get a camera like that, and Ben put all his money into getting
he's
that.
he's an
Um,
amazing DP.
yep, yep,
DOP. He's really good with a camera. He knows how it works, and
yep,
I'm so glad to have him as a person I can call upon for things like that.
yep.
Because camera side of things, I am bare basic. I can film
Yeah,
something.
well, I was focus puller, buddy. Do you know how
Yeah,
much stressful that was for me?
oh, it was. You guys will see about in the documentary
Yeah,
just how stressed everyone was on it. It was
yep,
great.
yep,
I
yep.
mean, yeah, no, everyone killed. Everyone killed. Tyson killed it on sound. Kira and that killed it on lighting. Holly and
Yes,
Liv
we had
killed it on
amazing
makeup.
lighting. Yeah,
Amazing lighting, amazing
yeah,
makeup, amazing
yeah,
acting from everyone.
yep.
Steve and Soraya, the main actors, killed it in their performances.
Yes, yes, they did.
Considering they haven't done that much. I mean, they've done some commercials and
No.
some lower things, but no, they went in there
And
full
like that's the
holds
thing,
barred. And
Steven was stuck out with us in the dunes all day, getting the sun
yeah,
pelted on him, sand in
oh,
everything,
definitely.
and was having a cold as well. He was getting
Mm.
put through the paces, that's for sure. Um,
It was insane, and they
and he
weren't getting
still
paid
gave
for
us
that.
an amazing performance. So
Amazing performance, yeah, and yeah, because it was long ass days, like illegal
mhm.
the amount of time that we worked on this film. Um, but yeah, no, it was great, and I really want to do it again. I want to do so much more stuff like this, and
Oh
hopefully
yes,
something
oh
takes
yes.
off.
Yes, well, yeah,
Because
like you
if this
said, we
film,
both are working on all our stuff and everything like that. Obviously, you got
yeah,
stuff
on our
planned.
own things,
We're working
mhm,
on
mhm,
2-minute projects this coming term at TAFE. You and I both are
yep,
and everything like that. And then, yes, obviously there is very big things that could be happening towards the future to the end of this year. You and I both. There's obviously a very big project I am working on with you as well, and hopefully a lot more other people being involved, which is going to hopefully change how stuff is made in WA anyway, if this project goes right. That's the plan. And then, hopefully it all starts from this. So.
Yeah, where the plan is to take the industry by storm and start making movies.
Exactly.
And who knows, maybe we'll end up like the filmmakers we talked about tonight and have something like Talk to Me come out. And then we all become rich and famous and we live in mansions for the rest of our lives. That's the plan anyway.
Yeah. No, it'll be good.
Well,
it'll be good.
I think that concludes Director's Cut.
I think that concludes the Director's Cut. So thank you for joining, everyone. This has been the WTF Director's Cut, and we will catch you next time on WTF. Dun, 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 dun.